Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. pattern of conduct, the ongoing real-time documentation of what is the criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in violation of 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is the pattern of conduct underway by a public entity, that is the state of California, that is engaging in federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California. So this is group conduct. And this is the practicing of what are the criminal elements of monitoring amongst what is the demon possessed. And so this is what is documentation of terrorism as it is underway by a public entity in concert with the people of the state who are in the shoes of the government as this criminal system is in ceaseless operation. And as the state engages in this demented group conduct, this is revealing how the public entity, that is the state of California, that is in the United States of America, how terrorism of an American citizen plays out, what that looks like, how that is facilitated amongst a people, amongst a government, how it is public corruption in plain sight, and not only that, how you formulate policy and how you prosecute that which is demonic conduct, it's demonic activity, but that which is in no way impervious to prosecution in federal court, and being subject to ratification into federal policy. This is the P.O.C. 7ROR193 39577B3. That first license plate, currently it's 8:22 a.m. They're monitoring with the third party that I'm with while the state flies over in the parking lot of the Stater Brothers. And acting together, pulling in next to me in the parking spot is relevant positioning, and then the third party walking along the opposite side. This is pacing when you're understanding what they're doing as far as relevant positioning, and then remaining loitering on the passenger side where I'm seated as the state then sounds audible activity of a plane and then enters the vehicle. This is malicious conduct that by demons that are monitoring together. It is 8:22 a.m. This is upon exit of the Stater Brothers inside of the Ontario Village Shopping Plaza. Ontario Fire Department loitering in relevant position at the red light on Holt and Euclid Avenue en route to that venue. The Ontario Police Department crossing path at Holt and Euclid driving east. They're all stalking, so I'm just identifying state actors monitoring en route using the roads and the highways in violation of Title 18. They're systematically monitoring. It is currently 8:23 a.m. and it is Tuesday. December 7, 2021, and this is P.O.C. 402 40246G3, I believe, substantially similar. This is a truck, and this is a male. He's loitering at Shiro's Liquor, which is where I'm at, including Omnitrans right now at 8:27 a.m. While the state is then flying over the Shiro's Liquor parking lot where I'm at. This is stalking with the state. It's 8:27 a.m. and that's P.O.C. They do exit. By they, I mean the third party. Tracy Banks is here monitoring to the same. She's monitoring with another stranger. All right, they're monitoring together while the state flies over. All right, and it is 8:27 a.m. P.O.C. E75815 Mission Linen crossing path. It is 8:38 a.m. and I'm at the B&G Plaza, by the way. That is the state hovering over the B&G Plaza. Southwest Airlines is stalking. And seconds later, after Mission N, you have Mission N, Mission Linen. They're stalking with the state. They were proceeding east. Ryder follows immediately after. I want to document. These are stalkers that are crossing paths with knowledge of what I'm documenting as well. And what Ryder is doing is already known, and I documented Ryder specifically on video. And they are stalking with the state. And Southwest Airlines is stalking, flying over the B&G Plaza. That's that amplified audible activity. It is facilitating conduct. It's 8:40 a.m. So just so you know, with regard to the use of plane activity, the state is hovering where I am. That's how you're able to hear. So the state is hovering over the Stater Brothers parking lot while Tracy Banks is loitering on the passenger side of the car, monitoring, all right, and then engages in crossing path by walking around the vehicle to enter the vehicle on the driver's side, while that group stalker in that license plate that I recited, who pulls up, they're monitoring together. All right, the vehicle on that, on the other third party, the stranger that Tracy Banks is monitoring me with, stalking with. Understand, the state system is how you are stalking. You can know that third party or not know that third party. They're stalking in concert with the government. And Tracy Banks is a stalker. She's monitoring with the state, her own daughter. Okay, that's the psychopath that I'm documenting. You have what is third parties that are hovering over the parking lot of the Stater Brothers. That's west of this location, that's not taking off from the airport, that is targeted where it is, just like I showed you in the video time and time again. But I showed you yesterday where the fake sun moving back west where it was in the morning, as I showed you the video coming from Walmart, and the state's fake sun was not over Holt Boulevard at that time. It was over me at C Street, where I'm in front of 401 to 405 West C Street, and the fake sun is right over that address, right over me, and the state is hovering in a commercial airline plane, also not taking off from the airport, as it is driving west right over me. That is what Southwest is engaged in, and it's heavily documented as engaged in. This is targeted as to where they're flying. That's P.O.C. 1508341, that is the City of Ontario. Crossing path while the state sounds plane activity. That's again City of Ontario, license 1508341. 7HIS 780, 6URX 206, 7KLH 374, 8UMC 573, BX 193. Or 8X193, that's a handicap plate. 495, I can't see that one. Let's see. 8PDA 448. While the state is sounding plane activity in the B&G Plaza, exiting out of that plaza, they're in relevant position, crossing path. License plate 7MOP 341. It's 8:47 a.m. and at approximately 8:44 a.m. after I just recorded the fact that the rider crossed path again, rider crosses path again after that. So I want to be clear, that's the second third party and another rider vehicle. That's identification of a specific actor, okay? And the planes hovering over is called patrolling. That's what they're doing in the sky space, and this is what they're doing as I'm reading their license plate. They're patrolling as one. Vidco Foods is crossing path while the state is sounding plane activity right now at 8:48 a.m. Vidco Foods, California 221371. License plate 58876U1. Omnitrans license 1545799. That's bus 2345 2386 V2, substantially similar. That is Union Pacific crossing path going east on Holt Boulevard as Omnitrans is arriving. Understand, Omnitrans is creating light activity. Union Pacific is creating light activity. They are monitoring to the facilitating light activity created by Omnitrans. They're monitoring together. And Union Pacific is also patrolling. They were going westbound, and now going eastbound again. This is stalking activity that I'm documenting, so it is specific to what I am doing, where I'm doing it. They're all stalking with the state. Maintaining presence. It's 8:49 a.m. And that's why you have seconds later another plane being amplified in volume. It's 8:49 a.m. And this is exactly what Tracy Banks was engaged in with the same entity. She is the same entity. License 25331E3. 8JJL075. 6CUD364. 8WUH246. 8:50 a.m. 5MBF911. 8, I can't see that one. F831. That's a handicap plate. I don't think I saw the last character on that one. They're exiting out of the B&G Plaza at 8:51 a.m. AS84215. Staples crossing path. They're crossing path on Transit. I'm sorry, that's Lemon. And then driving west onto Holt Boulevard. License 88845D3. 10851J2. 6253 2H3, I believe. 8790 8G2 7PWW 240, I believe. And that's 8:51 a.m. It's still 8:51. Another plane. That is significant for what is stalking, but is the element of audible activity while the minions are patrolling all around on the road, on the grounds. But they are patrolling, monitoring, using airplanes, they being the state, third parties, and the state directly. License plate JSE 2482. It's 8:52 a.m. (65167E3). That's a tow truck. That's Union Pacific. The sound of the train. That's amplified audible activity. License plate 1566755, San Bernardino County. License 7 NIV 996 6 RBT 762 8BT 8BYN 771 7G. I can't really see that one. It is currently 8:53 a.m. 9405 8H3. I'm gonna say 6BFX 135. License 7 GUC 724, coming from Plum. License plate 6C10 6C17072 7TVY. Can't really see the rest of that one. 8APA 286 3MX 230. That's an old Honda Accord, substantially similar to that. It's a gold colored old Honda Accord. It's like a 90s Honda Accord. It's 8:54 a.m. (7HJZ 968) 7TVC 614, City of Ontario, going west on Hall, 2596 3N2. That wasn't the license plate of San Bernardino, of City of Ontario. That was the, they were going the opposite direction, so I'm just making sure, I'll clarify that. City of Ontario was crossing path in a dumpster truck. It's 8:55 a.m. (7 NKA). Can't really see that one. License 6UBU 542 4TYF 998 7ZVP 351 7RYX 780 8YP, I can't say that one, 6WJE 860. San Bernardino County crossing path. San Bernardino Sheriff, excuse me. 5TRZ064, 7WAU725. It's 8:56 a.m. 5ZAF109. 8SBL403. 6RNG172. And it is, by the way, 8:57 a.m. Let's see. 8WND443 6313072. That's primary care. B. I can't really see that one. You can scratch that. 8WB6290. 8KXE411. 75236F2. 7STM556. 5MTR180. It is the ongoing maintenance of elements is what you're listening to. The state is maintaining an environment. All right, they are crossing path patrolling as one, maintaining an ongoing audible activity. So that's what the environment is relevant to. Amplification of plane activity, amplification of train activity. All of it is on a microphone. And these demons are crossing path pursuant to that 8BNY248, 8G10320. Amazon Prime crossing path going eastbound on Euclid Avenue at 8:59 a.m. I remain at the B&G Plaza where the state is concentrating the plane activity in the same way it does everywhere I am, including on Fern, 630 North Fern Avenue, where the state is engaged in the same hovering with planes, audible activity, pursuant to the same stalking conduct of the people of the state. And also 630 North Fern is nowhere taking off from an airport, which is the form. The argument will be, oh, you're taking off from the airport, you're not targeting. And the state is always engaging in hovering over where I am and amplifying that activity. 8VRL273. And 630 North Fern is far from any location, as is B&G Plaza. It's not taking off from the airport. 5LGD238, it would already be higher in elevation from the Ontario airport if that, in fact, was the case. So the state is hovering where I am in planes. 46303L2, that's Brightview, stopping at the Omnitrans bus stop in order to maintain light while the state flies over in a plane. And that is Southwest Airlines. License plate 1463121, 7PBJ404 59858. Hold on. Trying to see that one. 59. Oh, I can't see that. You can scratch that. Dietz Towing going west on Holt Boulevard. That's audible activity while these demons of Brightview are patrolling back and forth. And that one's name is Martin. What I captured in video was the state hovering in a Southwest Airlines plane, the light activity being created by Brightview. Understand light activity is also ongoing while the demons are patrolling on the streets and in the B&G Plaza around me. You're looking at what is simultaneous conduct, and that is terrorism as Brightview is participating in that. That's a form of stalking with light. This is another plane seconds later, 9:02 a.m. That is P.O.C. While they listen to every word that I document about their criminal conduct, that's going to their prosecution as well. P.O.C. Alrighty, I did capture images of those group stalkers identified as Brightview acting with Southwest that flies over, and the minions that I'm documenting on the street that are crossing paths. 7XRW062, 7LCH268, 6Z60907, 7UYD, I can't wait to see that one, 8MUC155. This is the tow truck, license plate 12531S2. That's Airport Mobile Towing. Brightview is maintaining light activity on halt with Omnitrans as well. 7PJW794. Omnitrans bus number 1264. License plate 7EUU897. Burtech Waste Management crossing path, monitoring to the facilitating light that Brightview is creating, and they're all facilitating together while they monitor, by the way. Headlights on the vehicles, crossing path is called light activity. License 70284H1. That's Burtech Waste Management. It is 9:04 a.m. It is 9:04. That's another plane flying over. 6Z56825 pulls behind. That's a method of light being in the path while the state flies over, hovers in a plane. 8UHR625. 8LRZ902. 8FYR372. And is BN064 handicap. License plate 8DQT685. Student Transportation of America, crossing path in 2 school buses, monitoring American citizens. License 72607Y1, 8MOG927. UPS, loitering in relevant position at Metro 102, creating light activity. It's 9:06 a.m. Alrighty, what I captured on video, also you're going to understand what is the simultaneous conduct there as the entity is monitoring with the people, and that's the people acting commercially by Brightview as they arrive with their hazards. 8A EM530, 8TWU438, 3754 2M2. 0015RZ, I believe, 8XYU998. They pull up simultaneous with the state hovering over in Southwest Airlines, which is audible activity with the plane, crossing path with the plane, and pulling up in relevant position is crossing path by Brightview with the lights on that vehicle as light activity, okay? UPS is doing the same thing in the form of delivering mail using their hazards. It's light activity. The demons whose license plate I'm reading, they're crossing path with their headlights. That's moving light. That's light activity. They're all monitoring together with communication devices. It's the ongoing maintenance of the elements, 7CKT795, and this is demonic, all right? Revealing the conduct of the state stalking with a light source is revealing what the people of the state are doing systematically with the ways that they have at their disposal. Using any form of light in the path is called stalking with light, and it's demonic, and they are achieving what is monitoring corporately together on behalf of the government. All right, and demons engage in it through what is supposed to be inconspicuous. It's right in your face. It's recognition of those ongoing consistent elements. And you are also then recognizing what is the blatant stalking by the state, as you have every about 45 seconds another plane flying over the B&G Plaza, which is a pattern everywhere I'm at. All right, the state hovering and airlines sounding planes over me, including while I'm at the Upland Public Library. I've documented on my podcast, you're hearing plane engines as I exit the venue. As I walk down the street, the state maintaining plane engine sounds over my head. 5UJX011, that's the pattern. United States Postal Service is engaged in ongoing patrolling. 1370398, that's Omnitrans. That's bus number 1327. License 7SCU575. 5VJZ 538. DQT 685. All right, stalking in the parking lot behind me is 8NRB 982. Pulls up right behind, just like the other red truck did while the state was sounding plane engines. Pulling inside of that same parking spot is called alignment. 7N10184. It's called positioning. 4UBJ 528. 7WYX035. 7GDN 697. 8PL. I can't see the rest of them. It's 9:09 a.m. UPS is now leaving from loitering in relevant position at Metro 102 Apartments, going west on Hope Boulevard. Omnitrans, now you hear, is departing from loitering in relevant position. It's facilitating conduct. That's the state that is stalking via a commercial brand. 8KNX050. License 8HME774. 7YET468. 5BBG272. 7NIM784, 7XRZ245, Tayden Urban T, 8RHA132, 5U22824, BFC 54649M1. BFC is the logo on that vehicle. 7Z60290. It's 9:10 a.m. License 82679N2, 8PXC917, 7PLL554, N817NO, 8EGW6, I can't really see the rest of them. I want to say 664. That was a van. It is 9:11 a.m. (9:12 a.m.) (8XWB935), I believe. You see that clearly exiting B&G Plaza. It's a dark gray SUV. It's a female driving that vehicle. 9:12 a.m. 8WPY 6. Can't see the rest of it. Fontana Towing. It's crossing path. 7CVJ263. License 7GQK905. 8X. I can't see that one. 55202H2. 5PDB261. License 8XCK471. 5ETX541. 8YPP115. Night transportation. Night is spelled KNIGHT. Night transportation crossing path going north on Euclid Avenue right now at 9:13 a.m. I can see those commercial vehicles. They are engaged in monitoring. They're in relevant position. Monitoring in concert. They're all monitoring with communication devices, so understand that. That's how you are maintaining a circuit of communication devices, GD974, while the state is maintaining an environment around me. And that includes 5PBV750. That includes the venues inside. Let me speak to that right now. Hold on. License 8PCH710. For example, Ultra personnel, as I sit on the bus bench, they are in alignment while they're inside of that venue, where third parties are pulling into a parking space in perfect alignment with me, using their brake lights and reverse lights to pace forward and backwards, monitoring with the light activity, facilitating light activity of Omnitrans, of UPS, of Brightview, for example, while the state sounds plane and or train activity. This is how you're engaging in what is positioning, light activity, and ongoing audible activity. All right, the elements remain. And when you are stalking with a fake sun, as I've also shown, the P.O.C. is continuous at nightfall. They are monitoring now, 77918H2. That pattern of conduct does not stop. It is revealing the fact that the people of the state are monitoring with the government, and doing so 24 hours a day. 554181B, and that's why you have the state stalking by helicopter at every single last place that I'm documenting the pattern of conduct. All right, and helicopter is just one example, but that's a vivid illustration of what the state is doing, and it's doing it in concert with the people of the state. License plates 7MOM77007 7RQS185 8M, I can't remember the one, RSST. License 7ZLL322, I believe. 5BLM262. 72544U2. 6KZA469. 54301P2. It is currently 9:15 a.m. It's 9:16 a.m. The state is sounding more plane activity. License 6GFU489, 8FEK468. Omnitrans is loitering in relevant position at limit and halt. 8W63951, 7GWM572, 8SLT306, 8WZN698. 6NDG429, 7VES987, 6GPH949, 1580354. That's Ontario municipal municipalities. That logo for the I believe they are a branch of the city of Ontario. Yeah, that's the Ontario municipality vehicle. License plate 7BBS821. 8APP982. 5XRW633. A.C.I.S LLC, crossing path, the sheriff, 1516154. San Bernardino County Sheriff. License AS43U79, paper 8XPM286, and it is 9:18 a.m. 8PAL965 is in the drive-thru of Andy's Burgers, stalking with the state, and I already read their license plate. They just go to the venue of Andy's Burgers. They're stalking with the state. License 58599F3, and Omnitrans is now leaving from loitering in relevant position at limit and halt. That is bus 2350 at 9:18 a.m. going west on Hull Boulevard. License 8FQR961, loitering at Andy's Burgers in relevant position. They are stalking via a drive-thru. License 5MRG686, 28584A3, 8YTH301, 7CCS 957. It's 9:19 a.m. And I did leave B&G Plaza. I'm walking now west on Hope Boulevard toward Plum. 8EBK837, 7HAH 238, 8CY, I can't see that one. 7STU 654, 7LBM 409, 317163G1, that's Liberty Landscape, 1276728, that is City of Ontario, 8VYG 139. 7PBE 112. That's a paper plate of a coward that's running off, doesn't want to be documented while they're amplifying audible activity. It's the same thing as plane engines train activity. 5WMF 883, 8AYK 905, 6YJC 222. They're all monitoring to that audible activity while that silver color BMW crosses path 6TFM 776, I believe. Can't really see that one. That's a means of audible activity while they're stalking at a stoplight. The maintenance of elements, 8TGC 137. 6YTH 336, 417 35K1, 8TDR 373. And I am proceeding now what would be north up Plum Avenue. It's 9:21 a.m. This is a third-party facilitating venue, Metro 102 Apartments, on a third-party facilitating venue, Ontario Town Square Townhomes. Okay, where then I'm documenting what the state is doing day in and day out, where the state then flies over the parking lot of the whatever venue where I'm at, including flying over this street, migrating as I move, including what the state does with its fake sun. It does not change. At any time of day. It's showing what is an ongoing system in operation, 8PSJ257. I think I read that one already. 4MCS 072, excuse me. That's audible activity, facilitating venue of Metro 102. 8SXM 217, 7MZP 329. 8GQG 408. 8HWF 923. 6TYZ 318. It is currently 9:22 a.m. License BF00E63, that's a paper plate on a BMW, an SUV BMW. One 469500 is the City of Ontario, vehicle 4174, loitering at the City Hall entrance driveway turn circle area to cross path as I enter the parking lot. They are maintaining presence and alignment with me as I walk up Plum. They are stalking in a municipality vehicle at the facilitating venue, the state facilitating venue of the City Hall, 6VOA 633, 6GLP 446, 8SYG 883, M760HO, 7UVK 662. 56088M2, 8JLD112. 8SNX 664, 955BS handicap, 8TSJ 840, 1469611. That's City of Ontario, pulling out of the parking lot of the 280 North Limit Apartments. It's 9:24 a.m. That's audible activity while minions are patrolling at the turn circle of C Street and the parking lot of the Wells Fargo and the parking lot of the Ontario Town Square. Alrighty, it is 9:28 a.m. Everything that they're doing is on a microphone, and that by they I mean the third parties that I documented. They are McCarthy. It is 9:28 a.m. and this is P.O.C. I'm now seated at the 280 North Limit Apartments, which is adjacent to the Ovid Family Community Library, which is in front of 8LXW241, which is in front of the Wells Fargo, the Ontario Town Square. That is facilitating activity, audible activity. All right. It is 9:29 a.m. All right, it is 12:45 p.m. and I did capture in images what is the criminal activity, which is the evidence of monitoring with communication devices. And this is that which the state of California is engaged in with the people of the state. And this is demonic activity while that criminal conduct is underway. Understand that. And this is the documentation and revealing what is the necessary policy with regard to the government monitoring, doing so through what is a satanic means. Every method employed are by those who are demon possessed, engaging in what are the demonic features of this criminal system, and that is stalking with audible noise, which is activity. That's the that is the jargon that you would apply. The entity is engaging in an ongoing stalking with noise and what is engineered light while they are stalking as a group in the path on behalf of the state. That is also, by the way, sounding plane activity, as I've already documented right where I'm sitting, and you're looking at the face of a minion in operation of a communication device, sitting in directed light, stalking in relevant position on behalf of the state, and they're not acting by themselves. They are engaged in surveillance, the entirety of the entity. But for example, what you're looking at in a picture that I'm taking you, you are witnessing what is surveillance. They are present in the path, stalking in perfect alignment with me, monitoring what I am doing on the venue of the internet in violation of Title 18, doing so on behalf of the government. All right, that is group stalking. That's federal stalking conduct, and they are also doing so while the minions that work here are patrolling in and out of what are the administration room. I've taken a picture of that. It's a means of stalking with activity. They are demon possessed. They are stalking. They're in directed light. I've shown you the light activity inside of this venue. The state is amplifying plane activity, as I've already documented before, which is impossible audible activity. The state engaging in that same pattern as you saw this morning, hovering in planes while I am inside of the venue of the library, which you are not going to hear plane activity inside of the library, first of all. Okay. The state is engaging in that ongoing pattern of stalking with planes, just as I was explaining this morning, while I'm showing you what is Bright View stalking with Southwest Airlines that's flying over the B&G Plaza. This is the ongoing pattern everywhere that I go, as I pointed out, including while I am at the Upland Public Library in the parking lot, walking down what was C Street and First Avenue, where the state was sounding plane engines over my head. This is the pattern, all right? And you have what is that ongoing audible activity creation. These demons I did capture, they're two white males, and in particular, the one that is seeking to flee from documentation is the same demon that was stalking in the path as I captured the state's fake sun at 3:15 p.m. And I pointed out how that light activity, which is equally impossible, but even so, it was also different from what the state was aiming inside of the venue of the Ovid Family Community Library, which was the day after I showed you what was video of the impossibility of this being the sun that remained over the Fontana Lewis Library at 3:15 p.m. After remaining over me as I come from Ontario to Fontana, and I captured the state's fake sun over me at 9:15 a.m. in the morning. I'm speaking to what is an ongoing pattern of stalking, and this is surveillance, monitoring with the purpose of obstruction of justice, engaging in what is harassment, seeking to, and I want to be clear, this is implicating third-party group stalker who is heavily documented in relevant position, engaging in terrorism with their planes, with their demon-possessed employees who are stalking in commercial vehicles marked with Amazon Prime, also on the venue of the internet. And I want to be clear, removal of my podcast that is published online, documenting a government engaging in life-threatening and criminal conduct in concert with the people. That is also sexually violent. Understand that, the significance of that. And so what I'm documenting, first of all, is monitoring conduct, monitoring on the venue of the internet. And this is that which the state is engaging in relevant position, but it is also that which is implicating the third party on the venue of the internet, Amazon Music, okay, where my podcast is published, because as I'm showing in images, you have not only the inability to access my podcast itself, that is that which is implicating the third party outside of the government that's group stalking by the people and the state in relevant position to me. Understand that, because regardless of the government's monitoring on my phone on the internet in violation of Title 18, 2261A, subsections 1 and 2, the removal, the inability to view or access my published content is plucking off of that evidence by a third party. And that's also what I documented, the non-existence of my podcast that has already been published on Amazon Music and on Audible. All right. And so I'm accessing it in different ways, going through my Yahoo email where my link to my podcast was provided to me, not able to, first of all, log in to the Amazon Music account. That's a matter of monitoring and relevant position. And then as I do access my account in a different manner, I'm just going through different browsers. I'm going through the ordinary browser and then going through in secret mode on Samsung, or going through incognito and Chrome, going through the link itself, just going through these different methods, including opening up the app, downloading the Amazon Music app, all right? And my well, I'll get to that in a second. You have what is getting to the internal, my actual account, and the absence of my podcast, meaning the dashboard is stating that there is no podcast in existence. That is conduct that's exceeding the state monitoring and relevant position. The plucking and the removal of that evidence, which is documented via a podcast, that is that which is going to implicate that third party on the venue of the internet. I want to be clear, that's obstruction of justice, engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring on the venue of the internet. And it is obstruction of justice as third parties do that. So I did document that. That is implicating Amazon Prime. That's a question of fact with regard to the actual removal. And again, everything that I'm looking at, the ways in which that I access the information that the state is actively seeking to obstruct me from being able to see, you have what is then the generating of that conduct. So as I, for example, this is what I was going to go into, as I download the Amazon Music app, and I do see what is now generating the search results for my the title of my podcast, the P.O.C. pattern of conduct. Whereas before on the venue of the internet, it's not generating, it's not showing up whatsoever. And I'm looking up other podcast names that are showing up, are being identified under the Amazon Prime as I do a Google search, for example. This is what I'm taking screenshots of. And you have, again, that is not only monitoring conduct in relevant position by the state and the people, that is that which is implicating, it's a question of fact as to the actual removal of my content. As I download the app and I do see it, you're talking about still ongoing monitoring. And it is that which is clearly monitoring, because while I'm on the venue of the internet, I'm on the 4G network, I have all of the bars. You have what is a pop-up while I'm in the apps looking at what is now generating. And that's showing the existence of my podcast. But again, understand removal and replacement of that which was removed. These are questions of fact, okay? I'm looking for it. It's not there. I'm going in different ways, seeking that information as to whether or not my evidence has been removed from the internet while the government is still actively engaging in stalking and monitoring in concert with the people, which is an ongoing threat to the life of the target individual, all right? So you're talking about facilitating impact, facilitating conduct, regardless of what you want to claim. Not only that, this is clearly targeting conduct, as you have no legitimate purpose in engaging in such conduct. This is what the online venues are doing on behalf of the state, all right? And that's the people of the state engaging in the pattern of conduct on the venue of the internet. Full knowledge of who I am. That targeting conduct is speaking to knowledge of who I am, or it is speaking to knowledge of the fact that I'm documenting and seeking to prosecute, all right, and doing so on behalf of the state. This is how a government monitors. This is how a government conceals the fact that it's monitoring, all right? You have what is facilitation period, prosecution period. You don't have any right as any company or in relevant position to threaten the life of an American citizen where you're monitoring and stalking with the government, period. And that is also why there is no legal argument, there's no excuse, there's no claim of ignorance where you're facilitating the government's threatening the life of an American citizen. And by the way, these are malicious, demon-possessed actors who are going to lie anyway. So you're going to look at the fake sun under them while they are feigning ignorance and engaging in facilitating conduct while acting as though they're oblivious to your presence. You're looking at what is a psychopath. All right, while they're engaging in conduct that is facilitating in its impact of achieving that criminal objective of monitoring with communication devices, while the state is amplifying audible activity, while you are, as a demon, stalking with audible activity, while you're in directed light inside of your venue, okay, where you are exercising absolutely zero First Amendment rights or any First Amendment identity. All right. You are not present on your own. You are present on behalf of the state. You don't have any First Amendment rights. You don't have any legitimacy whatsoever. I'm showing you what is a malicious system by a demon-possessed entity. And this is documentation of what is monitoring on the venue of the internet, engaging in surveillance, stalking to that end. And the demons are patrolling in and out of the administration building, using their jobs as presence in the path, while they're, for example, using their book carts, slamming books on the case, DVDs, whatever it is you want to fill in the blank. They're making noise. They're stalking with noise and what is directed light. And while that demon is walking away, I do capture his image while he is walking toward what is the page 1 cafe areas where I capture his image while he's crossing path. Okay. He has double shadows. All right. He is in what is directed light, period. I've shown you this, but you're even looking, and this is how you're identifying this. These are psychopaths. All right. And there is no form under which you are stalking with the state. The state can cover up its fake sun all at once. The pattern of conduct is established. The state is engaging in the provision of documentation, which I have shown, where you are stalking with a fake sun, where you are molesting and stalking with that which is not naturally occurring, i.e. directed light. You are engaged in a pattern of artificially manipulating the environment. Covering up the fake sun, by the way, is not changing the ongoing system that is underway. That is documentation of what is Mission Linen, Ryder, the United States Postal Service, Omnitrans, B&G Plaza, Southwest Airlines, engaging in the same exact stalking activity, okay? Stalking as an entity on behalf of the state. So that is just documentation that I captured images of. It's monitoring on the internet, where, by the way, the government is present. Third parties engaging in obstruction of justice on that venue where the government is present monitoring. You are a facilitator. All right. You are engaging in what is the provision of a facilitating impact, where you are targeting the content of an American citizen who is documenting the government that's threatening their life. All right. So this is through and through. And so anyway, I did document that. My podcast is published on Amazon Music and Audible, but you're talking about monitoring, trying to obstruct my ability to view it, and the question of fact as to whether it was actually removed altogether. Now, understand, while the government is the state, they're all sitting around on the internet looking at what I'm looking at. So I've seen, by the way, the fact that the podcast is now visible for me to witness, right? The fact that it's present after I download the app, after I am generating searches and comparing it to other podcasts, seeing what the state is doing, if at all, with regard to the presence of my content on this particular third-party platform, Amazon Music. All right. So you're talking about then this is where the question of fact is as to whether it was actually removed altogether. The state was engaging in seeking to obstruct my ability to look at my updated podcast onto the platform of Amazon Music. And that is for the criminal purpose, which is harassment. The state was doing the same thing, for example, as I was publishing my documentation onto the WordPress.com, and I would document this while I was at Economy N, just trying to obstruct my ability to view that which I just published. It's there. But the state just wants to block my ability to see it. It is nonetheless in violation of Title 18. The people and the government are monitoring on the venue of the internet with communication devices, on the roads and the highways, on the 60 freeway, on Euclid Avenue, driving through the parking lot, using cars, using trucks, using the roads and the highways, using airplanes and helicopters to engage in that P.O.C. All right. It is currently 12:57 p.m. at the state facilitating venue of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. That is P.O.C. All right, it is currently 5:01 p.m. and it is still Tuesday, December 7, 2021, and a couple of developments with regard to my documentation of what is ongoing monitoring by the state. The documentation, as I have published it, and this is the precious value of documentation, especially of a government, you have what is the remaining pattern of conduct that is underway. irrefutable and irreducible and insurmountable evidence of a government stalking with light, stalking in concert with the people, which is what you are understanding is underway while the state is stalking in the manner that I have revealed it. What I'm also documenting, what is also a pattern of conduct, is the obstruction of justice on the venue of the internet as the government that is monitoring seeks to conceal that fact. And that's how you also get into what is the documented criminal acts of kidnapping by the same entity, which is obstruction of justice, who, by the way, the entity is currently engaging in an ongoing pattern of conduct while at the same time on the venue of the internet, what is published information with regard to Amazon Web Services. This is speaking to the massive power of the entity as it engages in what is conduct that is being revealed as criminal while they're monitoring American citizens. And I want to be clear, regardless of this Amazon Web Services error, and I put that in air quotes because the entity that I have documented that you have become aware of and apprised of that is monitoring American citizens manufactures information, okay? Maintains control of circumstances, comes up with a lie, in other words, and then manufactures the information and those circumstances to substantiate it. This is literally the government that's in that business. And I want to make sure that is in the forefront of your mind, regardless of what is currently, and be aware, it's Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. And so what I'm speaking of is what is released on the internet with regard to Amazon Web Services and this gigantic failure that's, having widespread, trickle down precipitating effects on every website and deliveries across the country. This is massive, okay? And I want to be clear, it is, regardless of that, and I'm not going to speak to that. I want to be, let's remain cognizant of the circumstances. You're talking about a government that's monitoring, and a government that's monitoring through the people. The people are acting via commercial actors as well. This is what is my documentation reveals. So I'm going to be mindful of that. Not speaking to what is the Amazon Web Services alleged failure and that wide impact that is being published on the internet. Okay, that aside, what I'm speaking to is ongoing monitoring, and these demon-possessed stalkers are remaining in concert with the state that is stalking with audible activity, that the state kept its fake son over this venue as I entered the Ovid Family Community Library. These minions maintain presence in what is unnatural light activity. It is referred to as what is directed light. It is a pattern being everywhere that I am at while the government is stalking. The people are stalking in that maintained environment. They're monitoring on the venue of the internet. This ongoing unnatural environment and the stalking conduct, the very peculiar conduct of what are demon-possessed actors, the third parties, all right, engaging in what is a satanic targeting system that is centered on technology. They are monitoring with communication devices, remains to exist. And in addition to that, all right, so this is regardless of what is Spotify, and I'm going to get to Spotify in a minute, which is Anchor, that is addressing on its website, on the Anchor website, after I have published my podcast and after I have sought to filter that onto my website, which while these minions are sitting here ceaselessly monitoring to that, engaging in the ongoing demonic behavioral pattern. Yeah, oh my gosh, my boyfriend. The moment that I engage in conduct on my communication device, demons focused on what I am doing, monitoring with the state, outwardly conducting themselves as the psychopaths that they are, stalking with audible activity, stalking in the path, stalking in what is directed light. Okay, this is the ongoing P.O.C. While you have what is on the internet, and I'm documenting this with regard to the absence of my podcast, and what I'm stating, though, the reason why I'm acknowledging this is because this is to not in any way be mistaken with some sort of Amazon Web Services failure, that it's related in any way, okay? And I want to be clear, it is the pattern of conduct, and attributing what is prolonged documentation of the government monitoring on my phones, on the internet, on any communication device that I'm at, is in no way substituting what is being published on the internet today, December 7, 2021. For example, the screenshot of when I'm on the internet on my cell phone and I am seeing now the presence of my podcast, where, by the way, you're mindful of everything I'm looking on the internet. The government is over my shoulder looking at it, monitoring it, okay? So as I am able to visibly see and witness the presence now of my podcast on the Amazon Music website, you have what is the inability to listen to it. All right. It's present there. And this is the operation of internet. In order for me to see it, I am on the internet. I'm on the 4G network. In addition to that, I have all bars. You have what is the interruption. That's what monitoring is. It is present. It is available, blocking my ability to listen to it, to enter into and view my content is monitoring while I'm on the internet. And you have what is a pop-up saying that I'm disconnected from the internet. That is monitoring. And that is a prolonged documentation that I have of the state engaging in that identical conduct, where, by the way, on such dates and that prolonged history of documentation, there was no such Amazon Web Services worldwide failure permeating into all the websites that just so happen to also be linked to my podcast, where I am also being prohibited by their malicious conduct of trying to block my ability to publish the podcast. First of all, that they removed, I'm talking about Spotify, off of the platform, and also blocking my ability to filter it onto my website through the use of a pop-up on the Anchor podcast. I'm speaking about Spotify. So you have what is coexisting conduct by Spotify. First of all, Spotify removed my content, period. All right, that's conduct, that's criminal conduct by Spotify. That they engaged in, and it has nothing to do with any Amazon Web Services failure. I have since published that documentation, and it is currently on the face of my website as the date of kidnapping, which was June 18, 2021. Today, I have published my podcast for December 7, 2021, well, as it is published at 10:30 in the morning, but it is unavailable, and I know this because it has absolutely zero listeners, and that I also recognize as peculiar. And also, while these demons are sitting here monitoring, engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, while I am engaging in an ongoing effort to publish it to my website after already having published it on the Anchor podcast, which is Spotify, you have what is then Spotify, which is Anchor, placing onto the Anchor website the fact that they are experiencing an Amazon Web Services failure, and that they're doing their most diligent best to get back online and resume services. And this is, I'm just speaking to what is the ongoing P.O.C, and I'm also addressing what are the efforts of the state. While they are aware of everything that I am documenting, the government is monitoring. The government engages in manufacturing information. The government engages and the creation of circumstances and information to substantiate whatever it wants to posit on, especially as one is revealing the fact that the government is indeed monitoring, and it is, and that documentation doesn't change regardless of some published issue on the internet today, which is not an explanation for what is within the ongoing pattern of conduct of obstruction on the venue of the internet while the government is constantly monitoring with the people. So I just want to bring all of this to the forefront of your mind while you have what is published on the internet about the alleged failure. My podcast on Anchor was published at 10:30 in the morning, and it is unavailable, and that is leading to what is the inability to publish it onto the WordPress.com website while the ongoing pattern of conduct is underway in relevant position. And I want to be clear that Spotify's claiming some failure precipitating from an Amazon website web services failure, which it's claiming is affecting them. You have what is, and understand, I am fully cognizant of the fact that, wow, this is outlandish. This is something that's affecting the whole world, deliveries and, all of it leading back down to Erica Lorraine Spencer. And I'm not suggesting that, but I am also not dismissing that. The government that is going so far to engage in kidnapping, to engage in theft of property, to engage in what is stalking with an entire environment, a fake sun over your head, seeking to go to the links. I've shown you what is literally demonic activity. You're looking at that which you would think you would be looking at in a cartoon on television, and it's not. It's called directed light, while these demon-possessed third-party group stalkers, the people of the state of California, are crossing paths, which is the term for what is stalking as a group on behalf of the state. All of that actually occurred. All of that is actually documented. And I am not dismissing the reality of the extent to which this entity that is being exposed, that has been exposed, will go and has gone to conceal that fact. And it's not a concealment. I want to bring it up because it's relevant to what I documented today. It's relevant to what I have already documented and established as the pattern of conduct by the state. I want to bring that up. Okay. And it is, regardless, under all circumstances, monitoring and obstruction. Spotify is not only engaging in claiming some failure as to why my published, because that's what the argument's going to be. You have a demon stalking with activity right now. As soon as I engage, move off the table, boom. All right, that's called stalking with conduct. That's a pattern. Anyway, you have what is Spotify, which will foreseeably claim, oh, well, the podcast is not published because we experienced a major failure, and it's attributed to the Amazon Web Services, which is published all over the internet. And the fact that it's affecting everyone is the proof of as to why anybody on the anchor, including Erica Lorraine Spencer, who is documenting the government that's engaging in federal stalking in violation of federal law, and also documenting that same entity engaged in a pattern of obstruction of justice, trying to conceal that very criminal system that is currently underway while they're claiming this is some alleged failure. All right, understand that this is formed for the same exact P.O.C. This is my point. Spotify not only engaging in impliedly asserting that it is some outside failure that's attributing to the fact that I cannot publish my podcast, which is evidence of a government that's currently threatening my life and monitoring and stalking with the people of the state. You have what is Spotify that has been engaged in that malicious conduct through what is the word wrap pop-up on the podcast. First of all, Spotify long ago engaged in removal of the prompt, which is the ease with which you are able to filter from the podcast after you publish it onto the WordPress website, the podcast. All right, they removed that. This is months ago. All right, and what they placed on the screen of the dashboard I'm referring to the Anchor website, anchor.fm.com, where you are publishing a podcast on the website, and you have the option of filtering it onto a blog, a website, if you will. That is basically combining a website with your podcast, which is what mine is. The pattern of conduct.wordpress.com, and it is Spotify. That's Spotify and WordPress together. And you have what is the removal and the inability to access for a series of days now since December 1st, the use of a pop-up. That's what Spotify is doing with this with this wrapped campaign. And this is the ability to review the ways in which your podcast has grown over the year, which upon reviewing it, then it's something that should go away, or it should also be something that you can remove in order to continue accessing the functions for you to function with your and operate your podcast and continue with the ordinary uses of it and those functions that are ordinarily available, but for documenting the government. And so I want to document, and that's why I took a screenshot of it days ago. Today is December 7th, and that pop-up remains. I have already reviewed it to see if it would go away after I reviewed the supposed progress of my podcast. I could care less about that. I'm not doing this for fans. I'm doing this because the government is engaging in criminal conduct that is inherently threatening. And it is sexually violent, and it is an ongoing threat to the life. It's an ongoing emergency. This is what I'm doing. I'm publishing criminal activity by a government and the people of the state acting with that government. And you have what is the use of a pop-up, and understand that it is the same facilitating impact, regardless of the fact that Spotify put on that facilitation on its website, because that's what it is. The fact that it's serving some purpose of letting me know about the growth of my podcast over the past year. That same pop-up blocking the ability to access what is the button ordinarily present in order to transfer my or convert rather my podcast into a blog site, a post onto my website, has remained for a week now. And it remains there, and that is a means of facilitation. I want to be clear, the same third party, which is Spotify, that has engaged in handpicking my content and removing it off of the platform, is also engaging in facilitation in this malicious method. All right, so you have what is publishing my podcast on this same third party facilitating venue, Anchor, which is Spotify, and then asserting the failure, which is another means of it has the same exact facilitating impact. Understand what you are witnessing and all the ways in which this malicious system plays out. And by an entity, a government, fully capable of literally manufacturing the information and circumstances on a broad scale. It's the government. All right. It is not far-fetched, and it is not out of conformity with the pattern of conduct, as I have already documented and published. This is why you are engaging in what are fictitious prosecutions. This is why you are engaging in theft of property and then making up laws in order to substantiate why you stole my property. You're monitoring. You're stalking. You know exactly where I am. You know exactly where my car is parked. You are the one that removed the license plates. You are the one that removed the VIN number. You are the one that engaged in then referencing some city municipal code to steal it when it is actually never in violation of that municipal code in the first place. It's very vague. It's an unconstitutional code, by the way. I didn't even go down that route. But the bottom line is that the entity is engaging in manufacturing information, maintaining control in circumstances. The same example with the San Bernardino County. This is a function of the government. This is the government itself engaging in criminal conduct. They're monitoring, first of all. Okay. Second of all, you have what is operating outside of their own policies, and then engaging in what is surprise. All right. Now they want to reference their policy when they take certain action. And I'm speaking with regard to what is the CalFresh, the EBT, the government program where you're getting, the EBT card. All right. So this program, which I documented that. All right. And this is within the program that Spotify plucked off of its platform, just remove my evidence. Okay. I'm going to prosecute them for that. They just up and chose. That's my documentation. That's my evidence. That's my property. Period. And not only that, you don't have a legitimate purpose to do so. The government is monitoring. The government is threatening the lives of American citizens. And I want to be clear, this pop-up on the website, which is blocking the ability to filter my podcast onto the website, is intentional conduct. And that is reasonably concluded based on a pattern of removing my content, which Spotify engaged in with regard to the documentation published between March and June of 2021, which was centered on my remaining at the third-party facilitating venue of Economy Inn at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. Spotify removed that content. Spotify engages in a pattern of that facilitating conduct, which is a direct threat to my life. And in doing so, as it then also removes what is the documentation of that which is between June 4th, 2021 to June 18th, 2021, which, by the way, June 18th, 2021 is when I am kidnapped by this entity, which Spotify is a part of the entity, as it is engaging in obstruction of justice, which is engagement in the state's pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring. So I want to be clear, it is not different. It is the same facilitating impact as Spotify, aware of everything that I am publishing on the internet, aware of what I documented about Spotify itself in that documentation that it removed off of its platform, okay, engages in using what is a pop-up to block my ability to access that only means. It is the only means. This is the other part that's relevant. That button that they are blocking with this wrapped pop-up is the only means whereby you can access the ability to filter from podcasts to the website. That's the only one. That's the only means that Anchor has, that Spotify has provided, and they are intentionally blocking that. And that is reasonably concluded based on Spotify's pattern of targeting my content and seeking to obstruct my ability to publish it. And that is third-party conduct. On the venue of the internet, it's referred to as obstruction of justice. It is facilitating these demons that are surrounding in relevant position the people of the state, third parties, in relevant position, stalking and monitoring with the government. Referencing Amazon Web Services as the reason for what is that which is within the documented pattern of conduct, obstruction of justice, blocking the ability to publish content that is documenting a government engaging in real time, continuously underway while you're claiming this error. The government is currently engaging in that ongoing criminal activity is no form. It's not. And not only that, you have what is ongoing knowledge of every syllable that I'm uttering while the entity is ceaselessly monitoring. I just want to bring this to the forefront of your mind. I'm going to prosecute on this grounds. This remains a question of fact. The entity that is monitoring remains in control of such facts and circumstances, and is aware, and let me be clear, even that is still not formed for any of the documented conduct engaging in that monitoring on the venue of the internet, on my cell phone, on my communication devices, is within the documented P.O.C. Everything that I'm documenting is in no way different from what I have been documenting. You have what is today stating, oh, we've got an Amazon Web Services failure, and oh my goodness, it is affecting the entire country. All right. Nobody's getting deliveries. Babies aren't getting their breast milk. People are falling dead because Amazon Web Services and Spotify cannot. And I don't mean to make light of that. I am speaking to what is the facilitating impact of what is conduct that is within the same exact pattern of conduct, going to the means which a government is fully capable of and has engaged in. This is exactly what I've documented and published. Manufacturing information, engaging in conduct with knowledge of everything that's being documented about us. This is coinciding, all right? It's coinciding, and I am not dismissing. I am both not speaking to it because it's not relevant to what I've documented about the state that is irreducibly engaged in stalking with a fake sun, stalking with directed light, stalking with the people of the state, monitoring with communication devices on the venue of the internet, period. What else, though? You've got what is today on the venue of Spotify that's engaged in a documented pattern of targeting content. Speaking also, let me be clear, when you're engaging in that, when you are engaging in that conduct, it is also, not that I need it, but let me be clear, that is also probative of that which I am documenting about the government. There's a reason why you're targeting my content, right? Targeting my content in some roundabout fashion with the pop-up, targeting my content with some roundabout fashion claiming some failure when it is within the same exact P.O.C. Is not any form for that same exact P.O.C. I just want to bring that up. And I want to address this alleged failure. Okay, and I want to document that because the minions remain in relevant position monitoring, so you can claim whatever you want. It doesn't have anything to do with what the state of California is doing in relevant position in this deliberate environment. It's not an explanation for what are 2 and 3 shadows that these demons inside of here have while they're stalking all around. That's called light activity, while they are stalking as a group, while the state is engaging in an ongoing amplified audible activity, stalking in all manner by planes and helicopters, which the state is also amplifying. Inside of the venue, it is P.O.C., period. Okay? And you are recognizing what is that concerted activity, including on the venue of the internet. Including, and it is pivotal and directly relevant and grounds for federal prosecution, criminally and civilly, where third parties engage in that obstruction of justice, because American citizens that shall be able to initiate that prosecution of the government that's monitoring them, become aware of it. Publishing it on the internet is the legal process that is necessary, as the criminals of the state are sitting in the court, demon-possessed judges, demon-possessed attorneys, demon-possessed third parties filling the gallery, demon-possessed deputies interested in kidnapping in order to conceal the fact that it is monitoring an American citizen. That's the P.O.C. All right, and the court is not a recourse. It's not a resolution whatsoever. Publishing it online is the necessary means, and engaging in, stepping in to, interrupting, intruding upon that, that's not only grounds for, that is grounds for what is federal prison. Let me be clear. The government is threatening lives here. The government is monitoring. You are stepping into very treacherous waters in doing that, and it's not anything small. I want to bring up the fact that my ability to filter my podcast onto the website for WordPress.com, which is an ordinary function for which Spotify should provide some other means in order to do so, to continue to do that if it's going to place its its pop-up about Wrapped for a prolonged period of time. Well, Spotify did not do that, and that is also coexisting with an information and documented pattern of handpicking my content. This is another means, in other words, of blocking that same ability to publish that which is inherent and vital to continue to publish. All right, you're waging a threat, in other words. Waging a threat by the inability to publish. It's already published, by the way. It's just not published. It's published on paper. I put that in air quotes, and I took a screenshot of it. I published it at 10:30 in the morning, but it's not published because what I also took screenshots of are all the other podcasts, the platforms that do not show the presence of my podcast that I published this morning at 10:30 in the morning. So it is not published. And then you have what is following through the entity that knows everything that I am looking at, that I'm attempting to do, trying to filter it onto, because it's not published. That's why I can't filter it onto my website. That's why none of the other platforms, Google, Apple, Amazon, that's why I'm speaking of Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, none of these platforms that my podcasts are designed to filter out to. As I publish information, it goes out to all of these platforms. It's not available because it's not published. All right. And then you have, again, what I'm saying, what follows some claim that Amazon Web Services is the reason why my published podcast is unavailable and that I can't publish it onto my website after I have completed publishing the documentation that Spotify intentionally removed, illegally and intentionally removed, criminally removed, in order to facilitate the government's ability to monitor and kidnap on June 18, 2021, by the way. All right. It's 5:25 p.m. and I want to publish that information. This is a podcast yet to be published, and this is criminal conduct, and it gets more. You understand how expansive the government's reach is, because this is the entity that's monitoring. And as I have exposed that, you're seeing how far-reaching it is. Amazon can claim anything, and they can make up that information. I'm not stating anything about that alleged failure, but I'm also not dismissing it. This is the reality of the government when it's monitoring you. But I also want to bring to the forefront of your mind that documentation is existing evidence, and Amazon Web Services is in no way form for any of that criminal conduct that the government is continuously engaging in. And this claim of any failure by Amazon Web Services is no form for that. The government remains engaging in the P.O.C. Period. I just want to bring that out. Make sure that that's clear. It's 5:26 p.m. and this is P.O.C. I want you to hear activity creation. And also an operation of their communication device in the bathroom as well. And they're in direct light inside of the bathroom, which I've already documented. This is the entity that's stalking in the bathroom, and this demon crept in so fast, so quick. The moment that I engaged in a different movement, these demons know exactly what I'm doing when my panties are down, and this violent sex offender enters in to engage in stalking with the state. All right, it is 6:40 p.m. That's the sex offender, the people of the state, at the facilitating venue of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. It's P.O.C. All right, license 6JBK811, 8KAX221, and 6JBK811 molesting. All right, stalking with light. So while Tracy parks, that one parks in front of me to touch with light. 8KAX221 is crossing path. They're all in direct light. This is Ontario Village. License plate 7HCN884. All right, and those minions are of Latino descent. They're going to be on cameras inside of the State of Brothers. Stalking with light in the parking lot is 8LYH141, 7TJZ604. Molesting 030K44, that's Nevada, 4POF153. Go on ahead, Satan. Molesting with a child in the car in operation of a communication device 88PF647, PACC888, 7SXM774, 6PKE552, 8JQE263. They're all molesting. They're literally touching. Nevada is touching as well. That Nevada plate that I read. Okay, license plate. United States Army. Okay, this is a demon-possessed stalker. All right, he's a fat-faced veteran, plagued with Satan, 15305G1, monitoring American citizens in conflict with that which he claims should be of honor, being in the Army. They're full of minions, okay? Hate to break your heart. That's the reality. He's in a demonic environment. He is stalking and molesting with the rest of these demon-possessed stalkers. He's in the state of California. He is in relevant position. He is no exception. 7UWU016, 7SXM774, 6PKE552. 91464 L2. It is currently 6:51 p.m. 8BOY 992, and let me get this minion over here. His license plate 8LYH141 that was loitering in the parking lot. All right, so in other words, as Tracy drives into the parking lot, the state is amplifying plane engines. The grounds are covered with directed light. These are demented stalkers. That's why you have that light activity, and they're all stalking. That's why you have that light activity. That's exactly why they're described in that way. They're third parties. And Tracy Banks, where I am, what I'm doing, as I'm doing it is known, and this is why you have relevant positioning, stalking with light in the parking lot, minions inside of State of Brothers, waiting for me to cross path in operation of communication devices, 6:51. Showing what is nothing but criminal conduct on the cameras while they are on the clock working here, shopping here. They're engaging in stalking with the government. That's what's underway at State of Brothers and inside of the Ontario Village Shopping Center. They're psychopaths, and this is the state of California engaging in that demonic system. It is currently 6:52 p.m. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, I'm literally capturing images of stalking in a grocery store. This is how pathetic these weirdos are in California. They are standing around the grocery lines. And wearing the uniforms of employees, making noise as I walk by, making sure they stalk with their presence, making sure, standing around talking while they are stalking in the path, okay? That's what I'm taking images of. I'm going to document these demons' license plates. 10967S2. And as I walk out of the entrance, my shadow's on my left and my right. All right, while these minions are carrying babies in directed light, they're demon-possessed stalkers posing a threat while they're monitoring an American citizen and molesting. That's a sexual violence while they're carrying babies. And they got multiple shadows doing so. I love it. And that's exactly what I just captured images of. Those are psychopaths and posing not only a danger to the very children that they have, they're threatening the life of another American citizen, and you see the psychopath through that light activity, that entirely abnormal light activity. Crossing path in directed light. License plate. 8XWF901. Let's see. I got that license plate already. This demon molesting in directed light, 7KUW976, 8NEF079, 8TBZ255, 96513U2. I want to get these license plates over here because I captured image of these Latina females who are on the surveillance cameras inside of Stater Brothers at 7 p.m. Engaging in P.O.C. and you're seeing the fact that they are psychopaths, not only because they're in relevant position, the P.O.C. is revealing what your condition is. It's entirely demonic. You are looking at that light activity, and it is a direct indicator with freaks of nature while they're holding babies, engaging in this criminal system with a government. That's a very dangerous psychopath. Sitting around stalking in a parking lot with light. Let me get this demon. License plate, and then I'm gonna read these license plates because I'm gonna get those demon-possessed baby makers, because you're not a mother. All right, any dog, like I said, can lay down and have a baby. That doesn't mean that you should. It doesn't mean that you should keep them. 60418K2. License BU14C99, that's paper. License 6ABC320, 21893W2. BM17Z10, that's paper. AVBJ987, 7TJZ604, and molesting in the back of the parking lot. And understand, that's directed light, not their headlights. And that's a sex offender that wants to touch on my backside while she's stalking me. License 7TEY. TFY090, 7TFY090. 8UND513, because I didn't read that one. And this white man over here stalking in the parking lot with an ugly jacket on. Operational communication device in the light activity, which I just gave you an image of with those females with their babies. He's a stalker. 7VZW702 is where he's standing. He's standing next to that one. 8KXE411, P.O.C. Alrighty, capturing images of psychopaths. 8MEY383, stalkers. Tracy Banks, her vehicle has double shadows. All right, she's creating light activity as she's reversing. She is engaging in monitoring her own daughter. She's a sex offender, violating her own daughter with these demons that she's monitoring me with in concert with state. P.O.C. Acting like she don't see me, she's driving off. The hoe is monitoring. Okay, this is P.O.C. It's 7:03 p.m. How did you know I went out the store? You could have called my phone.
Saw you.
Oh, you saw me. I didn't see you. Oh, you weren't in line because I was looking for you, but you knew I went outside. You could have just called me and I was going to pay for it. That was the whole reason why we went, all right? Anyway, it's 7:03 p.m. All right, molesting with the third party in the vehicle. You already know her name. Molesting together because as they aim light, they're monitoring together, and that's a molestation of my body together while they're criminally monitoring and stalking with the state. At the Auto Zone on Hope Boulevard, 8ASFAM. And molesting is 79897V2. This fat Latino male. Hopefully you could ship him out of the country. If they're not American citizens, that is. License plate. 6CBG888. 8YTA345. 7VLK539. BE45M50. This is all light activity. He got out of his car. Now he got back in his car after he molested. He's monitoring with Tracy Banks, so now he's crossing path and directed light while he does so. All right, again, that's 79897V2. License plate. Oh, I read their license plate. Directed light while they are exiting the parking lot. They're monitoring, okay? 7VLK539 is loitering, all right? License plate BE31C86 paper, BD36X10 paper. 49192G2. 6MOL 699, 7ZTL 310, 8VPF. 8VPE198, 19647G1, 7KWE855. This is the AutoZone again at Hope Boulevard. I've already documented this venue. This is where the state was keeping. Remember when I've already published the documentation, the state would keep its fake sun, where I have gone nowhere near Mercy House, for example. When I would walk west on Hope Boulevard to Mercy House, the state would keep its fake sun over me, over my head. And this is when I started getting that heavy documentation, that wealth of documentation of what was directed light, just lines of directed light, while demons such as 7ZTL310 would drive by. Okay? This is the same venue. All right, as I was walking past, AutoZone was systematically monitoring as I would walk all day long. The state kept its fake sun moving it across that property. It's a facilitating venue, as it does, the state does so. State's fake sun not going anywhere over that location. That's impossible while it's remaining over the Ovid Family Community Library. But that is documentation that exists of what is not the sun. This is P.O.C. It's 7:13 p.m. 4GDY760. 7:29 p.m. Impulsible light activity, that is directed light that's reaching up to the top above the logo of the AutoZone while he is merely reversing. He's stalking with the demons that are in their vehicles, patrolling to the entrance door with light activity, using their cell phones as light. While this fat female, she's got a cell phone. She's walking in and out of the entrance, is what she was doing, monitoring with that third party in that vehicle who was aiming his lights through the door, sitting in the parking lot. Tracy Banks is engaging in loitering in the parking lot, using her cell phone as light activity. And what's her form? She's putting oil in her car. She doesn't know how to do it. She's walking all around the vehicle that's patrolling. The third party's on Pleasant, creating light activity using their hazards. All right. Monitoring together while this demon at the car patrols in and out with the light activity on her phone. All right. While Tracy Banks slams the trunk, for example, while this demon in license plate right here, loitering relevant position, sitting in the car, stalking, listening to me recite the P.O.C. License. Let's see, 19647G1, which I already read that one. I just want to be clear. Monitoring while Pleasant, the third party's on Pleasant on the opposite side, right? Because on this side is AutoZone. That street of Pleasant is lined with businesses. All right, residential third party facilitating venues where minions live are on the opposite side of the street. All right, they're creating light activity using their hazards, right? Walking back and forth with light, using your cell phone as light activity and patrolling, using her phone as light activity while she's in front of me. I'm sitting on the passenger side. This is light activity. This is a demon who's creating light, pulling in and out of the parking spot right in front while the state is. Same stalking conduct, okay? With airplanes. 7THV818. Monitoring with the state that is hovering over the AutoZone. Now, if they're hovering over the AutoZone, by the time they get to the B&G Plaza, as you've seen, where they're acting like they're taking off, even though there's no airport right here by the AutoZone, okay? You have what is hovering over and then rising up in elevation. That's what the state is doing at the B&G Plaza, hovering over, then rising up in elevation. We are east of what is the B&G Plaza. One this morning, and I'm showing you Southwest Airlines that is stalking, is hovering over the B&G Plaza and then rising up in elevation. You have what is engaging in this hovering before they're getting to B&G Plaza. I'm speaking to you what is the targeting conduct, and I've already demonstrated this. It's a common sense analysis. The state is stalking all the time in airplanes, where I am creating audible activity in that very method of airplanes. And why? Because the idiot says there's an airport in Ontario, California, so we'll have airplanes everywhere, including on 60 North Fern. Okay, including over the Walmart. Okay, over the Walmart parking lot. All right, over the Walmart store. Okay, anywhere in Walmart, anywhere in the city of Ontario. And that does not follow. That is stalking in the incredible manner pursuant to a pattern of conduct by the government using third-party commercial airline planes. And that is at 7:32 p.m. where the state is hovering over the AutoZone where I am now in directed light while the demons are pacing all around using light activity. While I'm reciting the P.O.C., remember that is also the state's pattern as I document engaging in more of the P.O.C. All right. It is 7:33 p.m. All right, it is 9:24 p.m. The state begins sounding helicopter activity, meaning the state was already present stalking via helicopter and airplanes. The state begins sounding helicopter activity the moment that I start moving around in the car, picking up my property, touching my phone, getting out of the vehicle that I am inside of, where the state is molesting with directed light, where the people are stalking and the state is engaging in an ongoing terrorism with directed light as it's being aimed inside of the vehicle. And the state is also molesting with directed light. All right, aiming at touching my thighs with it. Okay. I want to be clear. Third-party facilitating venue, Woodside Senior Apartments, maintaining light activity with the flashing signage. That is, first of all, demonic. And second of all, that is the terrorizing conduct by the people. And that is how you are engaging in the maintenance of that facilitating environment, using vehicles, using signage, using, like I showed at Economy Inn, the lights on the streets. This is what the state does in parking lots. As I'm showing, as I've documented the state turning on street lamps as I walk by them. The flickering light of Woodside Senior Apartments is also coexisting with whether the stalking conduct at this venue where the state is stalking by plane and helicopter. It is intentional conduct. It is a pattern of conduct. All right. And it's demonic. License plate 7PSF 306. License 8TMF 189. And Woodside Senior Apartments is located at 408 West G Street. It's 9:26 p.m. And these are demons that are patrolling via vehicle. These are demons who are engaging in criminal activity as well, okay? This demon is license plate 7WAX530, molesting. All right, and driving past does not create what is directed light. That's what the state is aiming inside of the car while stalkers engage in that very conduct. All right, I did just document the state flying over, stalking by helicopter, and 5WAX530 crosses path again. And you can see the directed light as it is moving across the gate. That is the same directed light that the state is aiming into the vehicle, all right? Swirling directed light across. You're talking about down where my legs are. The state is moving directed light all inside of the vehicle. And this is not headlights. It's the same exact pattern of conduct, by the way. I'm letting you know, not only is it not headlights that are going to do that, I've shown you what the state is doing with direct light, and that's exactly what the state is doing. Well, 5WAX530, documented on podcast and documented on video, stalking with the state that is also stalking by helicopter. All right, and you're also talking about stalking in concert with what is a facilitating venue as you are looking at them in relevant position with flashing light. That's Woodside Senior Apartments, where, by the way, third-party facilitating venue of Woodside Senior Apartments is where Tracy Banks is monitoring me as well, okay? 64380M1 is stalking in the path while the state is flying over the 7-Eleven. P.O.C. It's 9:28 p.m. All right, this is P.O.C. inside a 7-Eleven. Both the employee and the patron, they're stalking in the path in the middle of the store, and the state is flying over the store right now. So this is P.O.C. I did take an image of that group stalker, and the employee is in here monitoring as well. I mean, there's no exception. I'm showing you what is literally how this state system operates. It is currently 9:29 p.m. This one. That is the entrance of a group stalker. And as they do so, audible activity, they're stalking together, aiming light through the store. The clerk is in operation of a communication device, and demons enter and exit in order to stalk with activity. And I'm referring to the people of the state as demons. That's what they are. This is demonic activity. It's 9:29 p.m. 7AEA653. 6LTF296. 8HIW039. 8YPP444. They're just a line of demons waiting for me to exit, and now they're crossing path and they're stalking with the state, obviously. 25335A3. 4SWB50. Can't see the last one. And they're all driving west on G Street. 6WAN939. This is the tow truck. That's Airport Mobile Towing, who I documented stalking this morning while I was at the B&G Plaza. Airport Mobile Towing, I documented their license plate already. It's the same company. 8FRN359. Molesting. All of them are molesting as well. License 6YZL262. They are all molesting. 3 shadows are upright in front of me while they are driving by. That's not their headlights, that's directed light. 6JRN991, that's engineered light. While Woodside Senior Apartments, this is documentation of what is a facilitating venue. As I have already documented, the state was keeping its fake sun over apartment number 51 while there is rich directed light, and the state engaged in stalking by planes, helicopters, and the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario Fire Department, and American Medical Response. Literally everything, all of that documented at Woodside Senior Apartments. 4NLA 797. It is currently 9:36 p.m. P.O.C. Entity listening to everything that I'm doing inside of the vehicle. Helicopter immediately sounds. All right. I'm not only the fact have I established that the state is stalking. That's not a coincidence that the helicopter is present. The state is clearly stalking. I'm letting you know how hovering that stalking conduct is. The moment I move, immediately the sound of a helicopter. It is the same conduct when I am physically indisposed, my genitalia is exposed, when I'm engaged in private activity inside of the private space, which is the bathroom, that the government is stalking inside of. The government is stalking me inside of bathrooms, inside of the hotel room, inside of my home, which was in Upland where I lived, and where I live with third-party Tracy Banks, and with her son, Eric Spencer. Understand, these are demon-possessed stalkers. I don't identify with them as blood relatives. I'm dealing with what is a spiritual enemy, and they are psychopaths, and they're violent sex offenders. They're stalking on behalf of the government, and that's exactly how they're going to be prosecuted, based on their criminal conduct and what is their condition, as they are acting with the demon-possessed, with whose names I don't know. But they are part of the same entity. They represent the state of California, and the state's sounding helicopter activity. Understand that stalker is stalking me in the bathroom, and that's what I'm documenting. This entity stalking in a private space, and that's the sex offender. That's also molesting. This license plate, 7GJV821. If that's not a natural-born American citizen, they're to be deported to Latino male. It is 9:38 p.m. POC.